humanity's story is marked by both progress and devastating conflict. Today we journey through history's deadliest wars, events that shaped civilizations and changed countless lives. Let's begin. World War II stands as the most destructive conflict in human history, erupting in September 1939 when Nazi Germany launched its invasion of Poland. This single act of aggression shattered the fragile peace in Europe and set off a chain reaction that would engulf the world. Over the next 6 years, more than 60 nations were drawn into a struggle that spanned every continent except Antarctica. The war's reach was truly global, involving countries from Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas, and mobilizing millions of soldiers and civilians alike. The horrors unleashed were unprecedented: the systematic genocide of the Holocaust, the devastation of entire cities by relentless bombing, and the dawn of nuclear warfare with the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Countless families were torn apart, and millions were forced to flee their homes. Between 70 and 85 million people perished, soldiers on the front lines, innocent civilians caught in the crossfire, and victims of genocide. The scale of loss and suffering was almost unimaginable, leaving deep scars on every nation involved. In the aftermath, the world was forever changed. Borders were redrawn, entire societies rebuilt from ruins, and the United Nations was founded in 1945 in hopes of preventing such devastation from ever happening again. The seeds of the Cold War were sown in this turbulent period. The lessons of World War II remain a solemn warning about the catastrophic cost of unchecked aggression, hatred, and intolerance. Memorials and graveyards across the world remind us of the price paid for peace. Today, the memory of World War II compels us to honor those who suffered and to strive together for a more peaceful and just world. The Taiping Rebellion, led by the charismatic and radical Hong Xiuquan in 1850, erupted into what would become history's deadliest civil war, shaking the very foundations of China. Inspired by visions of sweeping social and religious reform, millions of desperate peasants and followers rallied to Hong's cause, launching a massive uprising against the ruling Qing dynasty and plunging China into chaos and bloodshed for 14 long years. The conflict unleashed unimaginable suffering. Famine, disease, and relentless violence swept across the land, killing an estimated 20 to 30 million people and leaving entire regions devastated. When the rebellion was finally crushed, China was left deeply traumatized and weakened, its society scarred and its government destabilized, paving the way for further unrest and foreign intervention. The Taiping Rebellion remains a stark and haunting lesson in the devastation that internal conflict can bring, echoing through Chinese history to this day. In 1937, Japan's invasion of China unleashed 8 years of relentless brutality and unimaginable suffering, marking one of the darkest chapters in modern Asian history. Cities fell under siege, and entire communities were uprooted as the conflict spread across the nation. Atrocities like the Nanjing massacre shocked the world's conscience, as hundreds of thousands perished and millions more were forced to flee their homes, seeking safety from the violence and destruction that engulfed their lives. Between 15 and 25 million Chinese lost their lives, with famine, disease, and mass displacement compounding the tragedy. Families were torn apart, and entire villages vanished, leaving scars that would last for generations. The war not only devastated the population, but also weakened China's nationalist government, creating a power vacuum that fueled the rise of the communist movement and set the stage for future conflict. Its legacy continues to shape the complex and often tense relations between China and Japan, influencing diplomacy, memory, and national identity to this day. The Second Sino-Japanese War stands as a powerful testament to human resilience and endurance amid overwhelming adversity, reminding us of the costs of war and the strength of those who survive. The An-Lushan Rebellion erupted in 755 AD, shattering China's Tang dynasty. What began as a power struggle became a catastrophic civil war, devastating cities and farmlands. Famine and disease killed between 13 and 36 million people. The rebellion ended the Tang Golden Age and left China in decline. It's a powerful reminder of how quickly greatness can be undone by war. World War I began in 1914, quickly engulfing Europe and beyond. Industrialized warfare and trench battles brought unprecedented horror and loss. By 1918, 16 to 20 million were dead, with millions more wounded. The war's end saw empires collapse and borders redrawn, but peace proved elusive. Its legacy shaped the 20th century and sowed seeds for future conflict. The promise of the war to end all wars would remain tragically unfulfilled. The Dungan Revolt, 1862-1877, was a brutal civil war in northwest China. Muslim Hui and other groups rebelled against the Qing dynasty, sparking widespread violence. Famine, disease, and mass displacement killed 8 to 12 million people. The revolt left the region devastated and reshaped its demographics. It's a stark example of how internal divisions can unleash waves of suffering. The Russian Civil War, 1917–1922, followed the collapse of the Tsarist regime. Bolsheviks, anti-communists, and other factions fought for control, plunging Russia into chaos. Brutality, famine, and disease killed 7 to 12 million people. The Bolshevik victory led to the Soviet Union and a new era in global politics. The war's legacy shaped Russia for generations. The 30 Years' War, 1618–1648, devastated Central Europe. What began as a religious dispute became a continent-wide struggle, with famine and disease killing millions. Up to 8 million perished, and entire regions were depopulated. The Peace of Westphalia ended the war and reshaped Europe's political map. Its legacy warns of the dangers of sectarian conflict. The Napoleonic Wars, 1803–1815, saw France, led by Napoleon, battle nearly every European power. Legendary battles and new military strategies brought immense suffering. 3.5 to 6 million died, and Europe's political landscape was forever changed. The wars inspired movements for independence and revolution. Napoleon's ambition left a legacy measured in both new nations and lost lives. The Korean War, 1950–1953, turned the peninsula into a Cold War battleground. North Korea, backed by China and the USSR, invaded the South, prompting UN intervention. 2.5 to 4 million died, and the country remains divided to this day. The war's scars are visible in the demilitarized zone and separated families. Its legacy is a stark reminder of the cost of unresolved conflict. These wars left behind shattered nations and generations marked by trauma and resilience. Behind every statistic is a human story of loss, courage, and hope. History's lessons urge us to seek peace and understanding. Which war do you think had the greatest impact? Share your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and join us for more stories from our shared past. Thanks for watching.